Hello all, everyone, everywhere. Welcome back to Formula for Speed. I am your host, Chad. My lovely co-host is back. Tell him hello, babyface.
Hello!
Guys, as you can see, I brought the hat back. Babyface,
Yes.
how do you feel about the race?
That was a good race. Very good for you guys.
Portugal, before I even start, guys, Portugal. Guys, I like the race. I was excited about it. Again, let us know in the comments what you think about this. What were your thoughts about this race? Babyface brought her notes, guys. She's ready. Babyface, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I mean, Babyface, just to start, Bottas got pole.
Yes.
Right? And I'll say this again. My McLaren boys have figured out the good balance between the tires and the aero packaging, so we're running excellent. To me, Mercedes and Aston Martin are not running well with these Pirelli tires, guys. And Pirelli, to me, babyface, and of course, guys, you let me know what you think. Pirelli went very conservative this year, I feel like, with the compounds they're using in the tires. And for teams that lost out on the rule changes for this year as far as the aero packaging, like Mercedes and Aston Martin, I feel like, guys, let me know what you think. Babyface, of course, let me know what you think. I think teams like those two really are struggling with those tires. Mm-hmm. They're trying to find the right balance between the aero and those tires. I saw it all in testing since the start of the season. All in the practices, they are trying to figure out these tires. They're difficult. Even Red Bull, I mean, even when you watch the practices, there's some errors I'm seeing that these guys normally did not make last year compared to this year because of the tires. I feel like guys like Lewis, of course, master of the tire strategy and how he's driving. Whereas Bottas, not as strong on the tires, is struggling a little bit. Because the car's not stable with these tires, I feel like. Aston Martin's trying to figure it out. But, yeah, guys, my McLaren boys, I can't stop looking at the results. It doesn't even seem real. Right now, Lando's running third. He finished fifth. Danny Rick finished ninth. He will improve. He's just still getting used to the car and the engineer, I feel.
So is that what you thought when you saw Danny Rick not coming out of Q3? Were you shocked? What did you think of that?
Him not coming out of Q3 was a shock to me. I think, again, if I look at all the guys, and I told Babyface this, guys, and let me know if you have different opinions, but all the guys new to a team and switching engine manufacturers, Vettel, Alonso coming in, of course, he's new. Rick. Just an example, new to a team and an engine manufacturer. So they're struggling right now, what I've noticed. Now, Perez, on the flip side, he's doing very well. He's the outlier to me. But the rest of these guys, like even Vettel as well. Vettel's struggling. I may have named him already. But Carlos Sainz was struggling at first. Ferrari.
What did you think of Sainz
Has pace.
out-qualifying Leclerc?
I was surprised at that.
You were?
I think Sainz, I knew he was a good driver because he drove very well for us. He's a good talent. And guys, you know that. I do believe that he's now getting used to the car. And these upgrades that Ferrari, little upgrades here and there. My thing with Ferrari is, where's the pace coming from? I'll stick to my guns. I want to know where the pace is coming from. Guys, maybe some Defaulty fans out there, let me know where this pace is coming from because it wasn't there last year at all.
So what did you think of the race start? Once lights out, what'd you think?
Man, Bottas got a lightning start.
He did.
He got a lightning start. Hamilton started decent. Verstappen started very well as well.
Yes. So lap 2, Lando overtakes Ocon. How did you feel about that?
I loved it.
Were you just...
Oh, man, I loved it. Let me explain something to you. Guys, if you are a McLaren fan, you know it has been struggle for us some seasons. So we're now coming into our own. I think this is where McLaren fans, Zach Brown, envisioned us. Right now, Lando's running third overall. He's finishing consistently top 5 in the races, the Grand Prix. So I was very happy. Again, Danny Rick, I think will be fine. I'm sure some people out there have some concern, but I think he'll be fine. Give him he's getting used to the car still, so it's going to take some adjustments.
What do you think of Kimi and Giovinazzi and that front wing flying off? Lap 2.
Lap 2. It happens. It not typical from Kimi, but it happens. It does happen. So when I saw that, I said, okay, not ideal, but it does happen.
And Danny Rick making up 3 spots in the first 2 laps.
Man, I knew he was going to come charging back. One thing about Danny Rick, there is one thing. He does it, Lewis does it, Verstappen does it. Mm-hmm. Those 3 guys, just to name the 3, not excluding anyone else, but I'm focused on those 3 guys right now because that's what came to my head. Killer instinct. Right, they have a killer instinct. They can start in the back and you'll watch throughout the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
They move up. They charge. They make a charge and they're gone. So when he made up those places, I said, "Ooh, he's charging, looking like the old Danny Rick from Red Bull."
Yes.
I was happy to see that, I think that's what he needs to do to show McLaren. I know I'm getting used to the car, but look, guys, I'm here to race. So yeah. I think it was excellent. I was happy. So
lap 7 and 11, respectively, Verstappen passes Hamilton. And then Hamilton passes Verstappen. That's
what you want to see. Those two get along outside of the driving. I noticed with those 2 guys, and you'll see this after a Grand Prix, they're shaking hands or smiling. They drive each other, right? I think those 2 need each other at the front. Because if they can go at it the whole race, they would.
And it also speaks great volumes to how much Verstappen has grown. I've said this in a previous video before.
Yeah.
But about 2 years ago when we were calling him Crash Stappen, he was very irresponsible, very reckless, very aggressive in his driving. The fact that he is now racing with this 7-time champion and keeping it clean and keeping it exciting speaks volumes for how much he's learned and grown in the sport.
They are keeping it clean. I couldn't say that for everyone, but we'll save that for later.
So, what did you think about the situation between Perez and Lando? So Perez goes on the radio and says, Lando overtook me, he was way out of bounds. And we're starting to see that. And
track limits are so obscure depending...
Well, I do agree. If you're going to enforce track limits, enforce it for everyone.
For everyone. And you guys let us know if you agree.
Brundle said it best. Usually around qualifying, he makes this point, and I agree with him. Reward the guys that keep it within the track limits. Why would you allow guys that go way out get perhaps an advantage? So yeah, if you're going to penalize them all that are going way out of bounds, and reward the ones that are staying keep the car between bounds. So Perez goes on the radio and says he overtook me, he was way out of bounds. So the stewards were meant to start looking at that. We hadn't seen a decision, but then lap 15, Perez just whizzes past Lando. And at first I thought, okay, well perhaps the stewards said something to the team and said, hey, give the position back. Mm-hmm. Turns out that didn't happen. They were blaming it on Lando's tires being shot or gone. And I watched that and I was like, ah!
Well, while that's not far-fetched, listen to what you said earlier. The reason why, guys, to me, Lando was going that far outside of limits, he was getting grip. Those tires, again, you have a McLaren, my guys, running a Mercedes powertrain. If you guys have been following since testing, all the Mercedes teams, I call them our Mercedes teams, are struggling. Our guys, ironically, to me, are doing the best out of the 3. Mm-hmm. But everyone's struggling with these Pirelli tires, and that if you're running anything Mercedes, you're struggling with the tires. If you notice, he's running wide all the time. Lewis is constantly. Bottas, they're all running wide. Even Vettel and Stroll, they're trying to find grip. Those tires, it reminds me of what Haas has been going through the last 2 years, just not as bad. They can't find that perfect balance between aero and the tires.
So do you think there was a sliver of a chance that the team went on the radio and told Lando, hey, the stewards are looking at that.
Probably give it back.
Before they come down, just
give it back.
Give it back before pit stops start, and then we'll let strategy do it.
Exactly. I would rather give it back then. When he did give it back, if he did, right? Say hypothetically, guys, if he did allow him the position back, that was the time to do it. I would have done it then. That was a good time to do it, if he allowed it. But, again, if they say, okay, that wasn't the case, I'll then know you guys are saying that's not the case. But I do know tires, put it like this. The guys out of these 3 teams, McLaren, which is ironically, again, doing better than the other 2, I'll say. Especially Aston Martin and Mercedes. There's 4 drivers. We're going to see over the season, unless there's massive improvements made, who's good tire managers.
Yeah.
Who knows how to drive well on cold tires. I've seen Lewis, even before he got to Mercedes, drive very well on cold tires, defend positions on cold tires very well. One of the best I've seen. I think one of the, was it Brundle? Someone said he's one of the best they've seen at managing tires. So it's rough for these teams. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
So between lap 18 and 20, Danny Rick passed Vettel for 10th. I'm sure you were geeked about that. And then Hamilton overtook Bottas for first place. What I thought was shocking for me, I didn't watch practice, I didn't even watch qualifying, when I realized George Russell had just plummeted down.
Running Mercedes, I forgot about them.
He was running dead last.
Alpine, I think. Could be wrong.
They were running. George Russell was running dead last. It was lap 31 and he was running dead last.
Yeah, I was surprised at that. He looked good in Mr. Saturday. Mr. Saturday looked good.
He did end up saying that the car was undrivable when he was anywhere near.
And that's the issue. Here, they're another team. Guys, it's so hard to master that because there's so much R&D that has to go into. If you're clean air and your car's running fine, great. If you're in traffic, it's turbulent, and it was windy that day. Guys, if you remember in Portugal, all through the practices, even through qualifying, it was very, very windy. They made a comment to the camera guy about the camera guy on the crane, and they were like, they don't envy him. Literally, the guy is moving, but that's how strong the wind is. So if your aero is not perfect, and you know in F1, these cars are so sensitive nowadays, the slightest wind gust will throw you. It happened to Max in practice. It happened to a couple guys. Their back end just was lost. That's what often catches Bottas out if he's complaining about the back end of the car not being stable. That's one of the areas Mercedes is struggling in that I've noticed. That where Red Bull's not so much.
Yeah.
And I was surprised Max didn't pull out a 117 in qualifying. I will say that. Because I thought he was going to get the 117s and get pulled. I did. Because he had the... If you guys watch qualifying, I was like, this guy's going to get one. The kid's going to get 117. He's going to... Both Mercs are going to be 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I had actually, going into Q3, I said, Max 1, Bottas 2, Hammy 3, Hamilton's 3, and Perez 4. Because I just knew they were going to eke out that 117.
Yeah. So, lap 36, Verstappen stops. Puts on the hards, which seems to have been... That was the theme for the rest of the race for a lot of these guys. Once they got in, they put on the hards, out they went.
Most durable, yeah.
Yeah, the guys did very well on the hard time.
Yeah.
And then lap 37, Bottas stops. Excellent pit stop. Comes out of the pit in front of Verstappen. And his tires, of course, are cold. Gets overtaken by Verstappen.
For the Mercedes. I mean, let me ask you something. How did you feel about that clumsy? I felt like it was kind of a clumsy move he made when Hamilton passed him when they were going into the corner.
Yeah.
How did you feel about? I mean, because
I didn't. I mean, I wasn't particularly happy about it because I really like Bottas. Did I think it was a clumsy move and a mistake? There were a couple of guys doing that in a couple of corners in Portugal.
Yes.
So I don't particularly think that was a driver error or just, I'm not going to give him a hard time over it. It's not like it's not one of those things where I'll say, why would you do that? You're more experienced than that. Because a couple of guys, like I said a moment ago, did that when they were being overtaken. They were just taking the corner and were leaving all this space on the outside. I just, when I saw Hamilton overtake Bottas, was I a bit bummed? Yes, but I just thought it was racing. What kind of did break my heart a little bit is the fact that the pit crew did such a great job getting him out in front of Verstappen, but it was really all for nothing because the tires were cold. He wasn't going to have the grip.
Toto's on the radio, mind you guys. I did notice this with Mercedes. Toto is on the radio the last 2 Grand Prix cheering Bottas on. Go, Valtteri. At one point, Valtteri was the fastest man on the track for 2 or 3 laps. And Toto's like, listen, go get him.
Yeah.
You're the fastest man on track. Go get him. So...
Yeah,
but
that's probably what he needs at that stage because, I mean, if you think about it, Valtteri has been with Mercedes for quite a while. He's trying to get his own chip, so I'm sure it has to wear on his psyche a little bit, the fact that he keeps getting so close but just still so far. So giving him the pep talk is probably what he needs. Now, what I will say, I know he was out front and he hadn't stopped yet, but I was so geeked at seeing Perez running out front.
Hey, man.
For that moment in the race, I was just like, yes! Red Bull has got it right!
I told you last race, Perez is going to be this guy over the season as it progresses. I don't think you're going to have a Mercedes 1-2 this year. I think it's going to be a Mercedes. I think Hamilton.
Yeah.
But then after that, I wouldn't be surprised just looking at the standings, total points. Bottas and Perez are separated by 4 points. As Perez gets, and mind you, Perez is doing this, and everyone knows Red Bull has a very difficult car to drive. That's why the younger drivers didn't do so well at first. Now, you can, for many factors, but I still don't think they would have done nowhere near as well as this guy. Perez is a beast. I will say this, as he gets used to the car even more, you're going to see even more. You're going to see even better Perez.
I mean, you called it last season. You said, before the season started, you said that the Red Bulls were going to split Mercedes, which they are doing.
I think they're going to do it.
They are doing it. I mean, it's working out marvelously for them. But your team...
Yes, let's talk about them.
Danny Rick, 4.8 pit stop.
A blunder. But
on whose part, though?
Let me tell you something. He when he went to pull in, he pulled over the markings. Those pit stops are so precise, guys. They're expecting you to stop at a certain mark.
Yeah.
I think he was so eager to get his tires changed and get back out there. Little mistake. I would say that's more on him.
Yeah, I agree.
It's more on him. It's okay. How did you feel, babyface? Did you see Alpine?
Yeah, Alpine.
It was good to see Alonso back in the points, guys. How do you feel? Ocon ran strong.
I was about to tell you, lap 45, Ocon passed Sainz.
Yeah, Ocon did pass Sainz. Again, quiet as kept, Leclerc finished P6, guys.
He did. I really wasn't watching him, I will admit, but Alpine, to your point, I think where you were driving at is Ocon and Alonso finished 7th and 8th, respectively. The gap between Alonso and Ocon is closing, which makes me happy because I was a bit worried about that. But to your point, Alonso's probably still trying to get used to the car. He's trying to find his groove. But they're now rounding back to back, which
is excellent. I mean, guys, just looking at some of the facts. If you look at, I was looking at Alpine, which was good to see. Gasly ran strong. He ran a strong 10th. Even him, I think. I thought he was going to finish a little higher. I thought I had him finishing above Ocon and Alonso this race. I had him finishing above Ocon and Alonso. I had the AlphaTauri, I'm sorry, finishing. I had predicted before the race 7th or 8th, and I also had Danny Rick finishing higher. I had him finishing like 6th, above. I didn't have Leclerc finishing 6th. I didn't, for whatever reason. I didn't. Had him finishing like a little lower than that. But yeah, Carlos Sainz fell to 11th.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you don't feel bad because it's Ferrari.
I don't, and not in the least, but here's what I really want to know about this entire race.
What is that?
Tell me what went through your mind when Sergio Perez, the race leader, came up behind the Haas of Nikita Mazepin, who was shown a blue flag, who decided not to move out of the way, but instead tried to race the race leader.
You call that trying to race?
Please do share.
So here's my thing, and I told you this, and I may have mentioned it to you all, and asked for your thoughts in the comments. When I saw that kid get caught up, I said, this could be an issue. Because for me, he's still very immature. And at that point, if I'm not mistaken, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, babyface, let me know if I'm wrong. He had 5 blue flags. I've watched him in testing all the practices. I've noticed with him, if he is frustrated, he'll do stuff like that. If something's not going his way, he loses. It's like he loses his temper in the car. And I don't want to say loses his temper. He loses his composure and starts doing things like that. Can you imagine if he would have hit Perez or Verstappen? What happens, and I keep asking you this, babyface, and I'll ask you all. What happens if you're coming up behind this guy and it's a Hamilton and Verstappen running neck and neck, 1 and 2, and he messes it up? You imagine how upset people will be? With this guy, they need to talk to him and say, dude, you have to learn that you're in the big leagues now. We can't do stuff like this. We can't do stuff like this, because Perez was upset. He called him an idiot, which I don't blame him. It was a childish move, because you don't see this from Mick. So you can't blame it on anything else because you don't see it from Mick. Mick's not doing things like this. This is not the first time this has happened with him.
Speaking of Mick passed Latifi.
He did.
17th.
He did.
I was geeked for that. I was really happy. I was like, go, shimmy, go. Because, it's giving me nostalgia.
And again, he finishes above his teammate.
He does. He is consistently
outperforming his teammate.
Mazepin. May I just shout out my second favorite team for their amazing pit stops per usual.
1.9 seconds. Good.
1.9
Red Bull.
Seconds.
I'll say this, the best of all time at pit stops. I'll say it. Even out of my guys, you can't refute it. 1.9 seconds, guys. That's often, if you imagine, say if him and Hamilton or him and Lando are running neck and neck, they're both due for pit stops. 1.9 versus 3.4, like sometimes we do, that's the race right there.
That's the race.
Even Mercedes, with their double stacking, they're not hitting consistently 2.5.
No.
These guys are... I'm disappointed in Red Bull if they hit 2.4. I'm like, that was slow. You all are sub 2.4. Like, you all are fast.
Yeah.
So watch what I tell you, babyface, throughout the season. And shout out to, again, Vettel. I'm a big Vettel fan. You know that. Finished 13th.
Vettel and Stroll, 13th
and 14th.
14th, respectively.
That car's not running well.
But I'm happy to see that the gap between the two drivers is closing, because I was starting to get worried that Vettel wasn't performing as well as Stroll in that car. That would have been a
Gotta get used to the car. He's going from Ferrari for years to now Mercedes.
Yeah.
So they did very well. Yuki, quiet 15th.
Yeah.
He's running. Out of the rookies, he's doing
very well.
The best.
He's doing very
the
well.
best to me.
So overall, Portugal.
I liked it. Guys, my guy Lando, 3rd overall. 3rd in the constructors for McLaren. I told you, babyface. And wait till Danny Rick gets used to the car and we start running. He starts running better. That's only going to propel us.
Yeah.
The X factor in all of this, Sergio. I'm telling you, the longer the season goes, as we move on, he's going to get better. Don't be surprised if you see him and Hamilton actually mixing it up. Don't be surprised.
I won't be surprised. I'm waiting for Sergio to outperform Max.
It's coming. I think it's coming.
I think it's, for sure it's coming. I think it's going to be very similar to what we saw with Danny Rick back in the day, where you had some back and forth. Right now, Max is the dominant driver of the two, doing better, but Sergio is closing the gap very quickly. I think Sergio is about to be a problem for Max.
Yes.
And I'm excited for it. I'm like, yes! Bring it on, because, you know, it builds character, as
it
they
does.
say.
It does. And we can't forget, I'm not going to forget Giovinazzi. Finished 12th. Solid drive for him in that car. That Alfa Romeo's not the best car.
Yeah.
I was just so happy to see Mick, man. 17th, guys.
He did well.
Mick's a good kid. He's always happy. I'm rooting for him. Very surprised. But you know what's funny? This is actually an improvement for Williams from last year. They were finishing dead last.
It
most
is
of the
an
time.
improvement.
So he's consistently Mr. Saturday, made it to Q3.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, I know they're struggling with the aero.
Yeah.
All the Mercedes running cars are, except for my boys, not as much. But again, I'll say this, and we can talk about it on Let's Talk About It. Are they jerking Bottas? No. That car is hard to drive on those Pirelli tires. Hamilton is just exceptional on driving on cold, wet, whatever. He did it when he was with us. He's one of those exceptional drivers, one of the best of all times, on driving a hard car with crap tires. So that's what you're seeing out of him. I don't think they're joking Bottas, because if you look at the other guys, Vettel's not, even though everybody counts him out, he's struggling. Stroll is struggling.
Yeah.
Bottas is struggling.
Yeah.
The Williams are struggling. It's no mistake that it's just Hamilton's just give him the guy's props. He's that good.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He's good. He's not racing for us anymore, but I'm not going to hate on the guy. The guy's that good.
Yeah.
Max is another one. Max, if you give him a difficult car, he just drives.
Yeah.
Danny Rick is another one. As he gets used to the car, he's going to get better too.
Yeah.
So your guys, babyface, your guys. Here's what I will say and give you guys props. Once again, to me, you don't have the quickest car. You don't have the fastest car, and it's not as quick in the mids.
Yeah.
Not like Red Bull. Red Bull has the best, most complete car on the grid right now. But Mercedes is figuring out how to still win, right? Just like they did in 19 and 18.
Yeah.
So, hey, shout out to you guys. You guys are doing it. I'll give it to you. But my guys are coming. Guys, don't sleep on it. Guys, let us know in the comments what you thought. Who's your teams? Who are your drivers? Babyface, what did you think? Who did you have winning?
Actually, I was split between. I was really hoping Bottas would win, but Bottas doesn't tend to do well when he starts pole. So I wasn't trying to get my hopes up. I was split between Max and Hamilton. I was like, it could go either way. Could go either way. And this time around, it was Max. I'm sorry, it was Lewis who won.
Yeah, for the actual Grand Prix, I had Max winning. I was torn between Perez and Hamilton for 2. I had Bottas finishing 4 out of those 4 drivers, which ironically,
that's a great track.
He finished 3rd.
Yeah.
And shout out to those 3 because that's the most. They've been on the podium together more than anybody else. I think they broke a record.
Yeah.
Those 3. So, yeah, it was a good track, exciting race, wind, everything. I loved it. How do you feel, babyface?
I like the track a lot. I think we should go check it out.
We have to.
Like it.
Portugal. Portugal's a beautiful place, by the way. So I want to check it out. Your boys, they're finding a way. Hamilton did say we have a lot of work to do because he knows their car is not as good as Red Bull. And Red Bull's only going to get better because they have upgrades. So Mercedes, again, because of the regulation changes, they lost ground. They're not dominant Mercedes of 20. Or of, 20. So, Guys, I'm excited. My McLaren boys are back. Babyface. Yeah, they're back. Guys, let us know what you felt about the Grand Prix. How was your prediction? What did you guys have for qualifying? Who did you have? Who did you have for the race results? And so far this season, did it go as expected? Mm-hmm. Let us know what you think. Babyface, any final thoughts?
No.
How did you feel? You feel good?
Yes.
Your boys are still leading.
Yes.
My McLaren boys are running third, Babyface.
I know.
Yes. I couldn't be happier. So again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next race.